A real New York City summer is nothing without hitting up a beach or diving into one of our 50-plus outdoor pools. But with lifeguard shortages and a lack of lessons on how to stay afloat, groups across the tri-state are coming up with their own solutions to keep swimmers safe. So let's hit it.
As 8-year-old Tyrell Thompson floats in Sprainridge Pool, his father couldn't be more proud.
I decided to give my son lessons because I can't swim. It scared me because he's a kid and kids play in the water and I can't jump in there and save him. So I let him fend for himself. He's going to learn how to swim and help me and help whoever else.
The Yonkers fourth grader is well on his way with these lessons offered by Westchester County. What are the things you want to learn from swim class?
I want to learn from swim classes that I can float and I can go and I can swim faster.
Tyrell's skills are significant too because he's in the minority among black children. The USA Swimming Foundation found 64% of black children have little swimming ability. Compare that with 45% of Hispanic children and 40% of white children.
One of the main reasons why black people and what hinders black people and people of color from swimming is lack of resources, lack of education.
Paulana Lamonnier is working to turn the tide with her group Black People Will Swim, providing lessons on Long Island.
If you see someone who's teaching you or you seeing someone teaching a swim class, you're like, yo, maybe I can learn how to swim.
That sounds familiar to Fernando Lopez, the lifeguard captain at Sprainridge Pool. He learned to swim at the age of 5, but his parents still don't know how. The college swimmer is proud to be a role model.
You don't see it very often just because of the different communities, especially in Yonkers. There's not many very programs, and the programs that are there are pretty costly. So to have a program here that we offer during the summertime, especially when everyone's going to the beach, it just brings more joy to know that there are people out there learning and practicing.
This swim class is a somewhat elusive prize for parents. With a nationwide shortage of lifeguards, finding lessons that are accessible and affordable this season isn't easy. Was it hard to find lessons?
It was, actually. I'd been looking for the last couple of months, and a lot of the lessons were so expensive, and then I finally found this Westchester program, which was very affordable, so I thought that was perfect.
Also perfect, says Lamonnier, is when parents and kids learn together.
A lot of times this is their first time learning. You know what? I'm going to be the change, and my parents didn't put me in a swim class. I'm going to put you in a swim class, and I'm going to learn how to swim too.
I'm Miles Miller, News 4 New York.
In a handful of Jersey Shore communities, schools, this Long Branch, built pools specifically to teach youngsters how to swim. Instructor Kira Brown.
Swimming is a life skill. All of these children should learn, especially being that we are on the shore.
Well, as a seaside community, we want to make sure that all of our students are taught skills that are going to keep them safe in and around the water.
But Long Branch is the exception to the rule. In fact, many schools don't even offer classroom safety tips, something Shore Assemblyman Sean Keene wants to change.
Just the basic stuff. Swim near a lifeguard. Know when to recognize a rip, or if you're caught in a rip, what to do when that happens.
The toll of drowning deaths across the tri-state this spring and summer keeps climbing, whether it be in the ocean, a lake, or a backyard pool. Legislators in New York, as well as New Jersey, pushing for safety instruction in schools. Far Rockaway's State Senator James Sanders Jr.
Do we have the will to ensure that we have safety for our youth and for ourselves?
The best education is actually in the water, but there simply aren't enough pools and money yet to teach all of the kids in either state. NJ Swim has 7 pools from North to South Jersey in a paid swimming program. Owner Joe Omi believes water instruction is best, but admits
it's a heavy lift for the townships, and the pool space available is limited. So to be able to provide swimming lessons for free or provided by the state would be a difficult task.
So if you can't get them in the water, Omi backs water safety classes in schools. Assemblyman Keene.
Fear is good. You should be afraid of the ocean, but respect it, and that way you won't get in trouble.
Water, especially in oceans and lakes, is moving, and it's alive. There's rip currents and waves and things like that, and they need to understand these things before they put themselves into peril.
And there's a trend to hotter weather due to the looming climate crisis, which should catch the attention of legislators in Albany, according to Senator Sanders.
you're going to see hotter days and perhaps longer days, and we're not putting that into our calculation. We should have lifeguards for longer during the day, and the season should start earlier. Global warming is changing everything, and we need to adjust.
Assemblyman Kane believes his education legislation has a good chance of passing this year. He has bipartisan support, after all, and it comes after more than a dozen drownings so far this year in the Garden State. In Brick, Brian Thompson, News 4 New York.
You're witnessing a big win for Fatima. This was the first time she was able to swim from the deep end of a swimming pool all by herself.
Fatima, you're a really good swimmer.
Well, I'm trying to be.
It only happened after weeks of taking swim lessons at the YMCA in Old Bridge, New Jersey, and decades of trying to overcome fears she developed in her native Nigeria.
We were given this impression growing up, like if you go to the sea, you're going to get drowned.
She's not alone in breaking from the past.
There are no white students in this class, Fatima.
I know. Because they learn how to swim. They were born to it.
The racial disparities in swimming safety are striking. The drowning rate for Black people is 1.6 times higher than white people.
It stems from the Jim Crow era, right? You know, the separate but equal doctrine. So when you go to the white neighborhoods that are, wealthy, they have the state-of-the-art facilities. Meanwhile, when you go into, minority or low-income communities, the pools are not that great, the locker rooms are not maintained, lack of resources, lack of representation, lack of education, and of course, racism.
It's no wonder a Red Cross survey found just 33% of African Americans have basic life-saving skills in the water, well below the nationwide average of 56%. The Red Cross is among the groups working to change that. Rosie Taravella with the American Red Cross in New Jersey says water competency is made up of 5 skills that even those who consider themselves to be decent swimmers may not be able to do.
Get in water that's over your head, submerge, come back up, and be able to tread or float for a full minute. Do a full circle in the water and look for the exit. Swim 25 yards to that exit, and then get out of the water.
The Red Cross says many adult swim classes nationwide are sold out for the summer.
The first thing you teach the adult is, again, to get comfortable. Get your face wet, get in the water, explore breathing in the water.
Fatima is making sure her daughter learns those lessons too. The 7-year-old is also taking classes at the YMCA. To get here, the two of them had to overcome another hurdle, cultural concerns that pool water could damage their hair.
Girl, getting my hair wet was a thing.
I know. But you know what? I had that even with her. I had to buy a different kind of caps because it's not something we're used to.
All of it adds up to life-saving confidence in the pool.
I'm very happy right now. I'm going on vacation and I can swim and jump in the water. Swimming is actually not an exercise, it's a necessity because it saves life.
In Old Bridge, Tracy Strahan, News 4, New York.
Terry Deming was a kid who's hard to forget.
Tell me about Terry.
Terry was the most amazing child. He had such a spirit for service and such a great head for math, and he was amazing at baseball.
The tiny 7-year-old from Montclair, New Jersey, was a natural-born athlete. And like most kids, summertime was his time.
He was in the water before he was out of diapers. He was a really good swimmer, and he had a lot of opportunities to swim at his summer camp, the town municipal camp.
That's part of the reason there was so much shock and grief when Terry's young life was cut short by a 2018 drowning accident in a residential pool. His mother, Catherine, was there.
When the first responders came and I was giving him CPR, they reassured me that I'd done everything I could and time hadn't been a factor.
Trying to cool off on a hot summer day last year claimed the life of Kimani Mitchell.
It's something that I never thought I had to experience in my life, ever burying my kid.
It's like, I just keep asking God to give me strength.
The 9-year-old drowned at the Silver Lake Reservoir on Staten Island, where swimming isn't permitted, letting go of her big sister's hand and slipping underneath the water. Her mother, who wasn't there at the time, said her little girl didn't have experience with bodies of water and was with a large group of children with just one adult in charge.
What she was going through, you could tell she had no clue what she was going through. She was helping in and out, help. You know, she at this point, I'm drowning.
Drowning is a leading cause of accidental death for kids. It's number 1 for children 4 and younger, and number 2 for those under 17. The danger is especially critical for black children. The drowning rate for African American kids ages 5 to 14 is almost 3 times that of white children.
Most of those drownings in the toddler age ranges do happen in backyard pools, but they can also happen in other areas of the home, such as bathtubs, buckets, especially with younger children under the age of 1. Also, natural occurring bodies of water or man-made bodies of water.
That's why these mothers are making a heartfelt plea, calling on politicians to make water awareness a priority in tri-state school curriculums.
As we seek to transform into a society that meets the needs of a 21st century public education, these skills that children will take with them out of school and use again. Everybody needs to be given these opportunities to learn these skills.
And to other parents to remain vigilant and make swimming lessons for children a priority.
Wherever Safety Swim could go, that's where we need to go. Because these kids got to learn how to swim. These kids got to know that you can't just jump in no water. You got to know what you're doing when you jump in that water. Kids need to be guided as well. If you're an adult and you got children with you, guide them, love them.
Tracy Strahan, News 4, New York.
So James, as a former lifeguard, what are 3 tips you have for folks who want to stay safe while swimming this summer?
If there's no diving, don't dive, because it's there for a reason, you know? It's a shallow area, you know, you go down, it takes one bad dive to go in, tuck your neck, and that's it, you're out, you know, you're done. Do not play the hold your breath game underwater. Don't do it. Most of the time, if you're at a pool, lifeguards don't know whether you're underwater for, you know, taking a breath or if you're playing a game, and it's just a scary situation for everyone.
How does it feel to be here? Right, you mentioned you hadn't been here in a long time. This is where lifeguarding started for you here in Astoria, Queens. What does it feel like to be back?
It feels good. It's very refreshing. It's, you know, I've done a lot since then, so it feels good to come back and kind of just breathe, you know, and relax and see. I mean, things are different. The diving board area was empty, not filled with concrete, but it was just an old monument that we were wondering what would happen to it, you know?
And you got people laying out?
Yeah.
We have to talk about the photo.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta talk about the photo.
Yep.
So I got connected to you because we had posted this photo on Instagram with the news that the lifeguard starting salary was increasing.
Yep.
And that specific photo had you in it. How did you see it? What was your reaction?
One of my good friends that I used to lifeguard with, Kelsey, she sent me this DM on Instagram saying, "Is this you?" And then throughout the day, all I had were DMs from people saying, "Is this you? Is this you? Is this you?" I made a comment on the page, and I think a couple of my lifeguard friends liked it. It was very funny.
Yeah, well,
it was very funny.
You were like, this lifeguard looks pretty fire emoji.
I mean, you know,
Here he is in the flesh.
In the flesh. In the neighborhood, you have the police officers, you have the firemen, you have the local EMS, you have the lifeguards. Like, that is a pillar of the community. We leave here, the pool deck clears, we go get lunch, we walk in and restaurants know who we are. They say, here's an extra water because, you know, they know we're coming back here. Like, the neighborhood knows you. Like, I don't know about the other pools, but Astoria in specific, it's very family-oriented, this neighborhood, and as a lifeguard here, you are definitely like a pillar of the local community, 100%.
All right, friends, well, that's our show. Thanks for checking in. I still can't get over that last story. Finding that guy on Instagram, who would have thought? But look, if you like these stories, want more resources, swim safety tips, there's more where that came from. Head on over to our website, NBCNewYork.com, for more from our swim safety series. And of course, sharing is caring. So be sure to drop this link, drop it over to a friend, family member, but most importantly, let's get serious about swimming together. Kay Ingram, News 4 New York.